Andrew, the Living Legends property is a great concept. How did it come about?
Yeah, the concept came from some of the owners of Fields of Omar, and they were having a talk about what would happen with the horse when he eventually retired, and none of them had a farm. And then someone said, well, what about the fan club, you know, because there's all these people that come and used to follow him. And that was the sort of the germ of the idea, really, of how Living Legends got going.
And the homestead itself, there's quite a bit of history here.
Oh, there's a lot of history. The property was settled by the Green family. They bought a couple of racehorses and they bought a groom, Brannigan, out with them. Some of the first horse racing, if it wasn't the first, was right here on this property in the paddocks where the horses are today. It was point-to-point jumps racing. The Hiskin Steeples, it had its beginning right here on this property. And then over the years, the various owners were heavily involved in the racing industry. You've got the Chafee, he was chairman of the VRC. Lots of great horses came off the property. So this is one of the most historic thoroughbred properties in the Southern Hemisphere.
We could be anywhere in Australia, and you've got kangaroos and all sorts of wildlife, but we're in such a close proximity to Melbourne.
That's one of the real gems of this property. It's right next door to Melbourne Airport. You've got 1,700 acres of parklands, you've got 300- and 400-year-old river red gums, bridleways, walkways, pathways. This is a gem of a property, and you know, one of the best historic homesteads in the state, and terrific gardens, etc. as well.
I think it's fair to say that this is a well-kept secret from a tourism perspective as well.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely untapped, and we're right next door to Melbourne Airport, 23,000 visitors a year, and we're the gateway to Hume. Like within 10 minutes we've got Rupert's Wood Mansion, the home of the Ashes, Goonawarra and Wildwood Wineries, some great little areas right next door to Melbourne's airport. So we're working with the local other tourism groups to make, you know, to really build on the potential of this area.
And Living Legends is certainly playing a role in therapy and in helping a lot of diverse type range of people here.
Absolutely. I didn't know what diversional therapy was a few years ago, and we're getting those groups coming out, people with the early dementia. We're having people with handicaps, sick people. It's a great place to just come out, take some time out, go and pat a champion horse, and help you to recover and enjoy life.
We saw one of the tour groups here today of probably some more senior ladies, and they're really enjoying themselves and getting up close and personal with, you know, Melbourne Cups and Cox Plates and the horses that won those races.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's those races that really mean things to the public. And it may be, you know, people relate, oh, Might and Power, that was the year, you know, one of the kids was born, or the year we got married was the year Saintly won the Cup, all of those types of things. So, and people that haven't been involved in the racing industry, they get up close and they see these horses in a different light. You know, that thoroughbreds can be relaxed. They love to see the personalities. Of course, they do love to see the horses that have won the great races as well.
Now, there might be a perception that it's all champagne and caviar here, but you're a self-funding organisation.
Yeah, and I guess that's been one of our hardest journeys, was the funding side of things. But, you know, we've got that great corporate memory of being careful with every dollar is really, really important to us. And we've had some, you know, terrific sponsors, Mitavite giving us the help with the food, Eliza Park, they're our principal partner. And then the state government's come on board beginning from July this year, and that will really allow us to move forward with the Racing Minister, Dennis Napthine, contributing $250,000 per year from the unclaimed TAB dividend. So we're really going to move forward with new paddocks, new facilities, new programs now.
Well, apart from government funding, you are reasonably reliant on donations and people making contributions.
Absolutely, and if anyone wants to donate, you know, they can go right onto our website, livinglegends.org.au. The details are there. They can give me a call. Donations are important. Great place, great venue for functions and events, workshops, weddings, groups. Over the Spring Carnival, we're going to have a marquee here this year for a month, and people will be able to organise their own groups for their sporting groups, for their work bodies, etc. So that's another very important revenue stream for us. We're determined to maintain our self-reliance, our ability to look after ourselves.
Now, I've seen some amazing horse flesh here today, some great champions, probably close to 100 Group 1s between them all. Tell us about the lineup of who you've got here at the farm at the moment.
Yep, if we go down the paddocks, the first paddock we've got Might and Power, the Melbourne Cup, Caulfield Cup champion, Bobby. Very, very strong personality, typical Zabeel, but never happier than when he's got kids around him. His next door neighbour is Silent Witness, the great Hong Kong champion, world champion sprinter, 17 races on end. He was the Far Lap equivalent for Hong Kong. Bottom paddock, we've got Brood, probably the best bred Melbourne Cup winner ever, and his Paris Lane is his paddock mate. Next door, we've got Better Loosen Up, our oldest legend, who's 25 going on 26 this year. He's in with Doremus. Then come up to the top paddock, we've got Rogan Josh and our latest and youngest legend, Apache Cat.
We saw Might and Power today. He still looks like he could probably run a reasonable furlong down to Flemington Straight.
Oh, absolutely, and he's never happier than he's a running machine, and he can run around that paddock. He can still scare you how fast he'll go around the paddock. Really strong character though, can be mischievous horse. He's a Zabeel, so he'll muck around. He'll stand in front of the ute when we're in there picking up manure, etc. But the same horse, he's never happier than when he's around kids, and he's very, very gentle with handicapped people. So yeah, lots of different sides to him, but he definitely does still like to tear around the paddock.
He certainly looks like he knows how good he is. He loves the camera and seems to really put on a show for it.
Oh, absolutely. Never happier than when there's a camera around, either a still photo or with the video. We saw today when he thought he wasn't quite the centre of attention, he got down and rolled, and so that was the time. He's just looking to that little bit of a show off there for sure.
Nothing seems to faze Rogan Josh.
No, he's one of our really relaxed horses. Very, very happy with kids, loves a pat. He's just so relaxed around people. Some of that rubbed off on his paddock mate Apache Cat, but Joshy's a typical Bart horse. Bart has them right in their heads, and you'll see that every time, that just how relaxed he is.
Well, you couldn't miss Apache Cat. He's got those distinctive looks.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the distinctive looks, and he's also got that little bit of, I am Apache Cat. He's got that personality, that little bit of extra presence. Very popular with all of the young people especially. He's a more contemporary horse, but just those unique looks, those unique features, so very, very special horse.
Down the bottom paddock there, looks like grumpy old men with Better Loosen Up and Doremus and the kangaroos down there in the paddock with them.
Absolutely. Those, the boys, they're great mates, but they do have their grumpy old men moments. Better Loosen Up, of course, the absolute champion with his Cox Plates or his Cox Plate and his Japan Cup victory. We love him dearly, but he's a plain little horse, not a lot of size about him, but great fighter. And then Doremus was one of the best ever stayers. Doremus is a thinker. If horses played chess, I think that horse would be a chess player. Totally different character and one of the best stayers ever.
We saw them down there with Shani this morning. They're all a couple of little puppy dogs, and they vie for attention, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. And that's when you see the grumpy old men come out. If Blue thinks that Doremus is getting a little bit too much attention from Shari, he'll get a little bit upset about that, and that's when the ears will go back.
And you could quite easily mistake Paris Lane and Brew for a couple of 2-year-olds the way they were carrying on in their paddock today.
Oh, absolutely. Those boys love to hoon around. Paris Lane's had his signature pig route where the back legs go up higher than the ears. That's something he's done all along. And, Brew's always been a little bit of a boy. He's probably one of the best bred Melbourne Cup winners, but his other claim to fame was when he retired, he tried out for the police force and he failed police academy. He's got that little bit of latent Hewitt in him, and every now and then you have a tantrum, and, when you're a police horse, you can't have a tantrum.
And of course, then there's the People's Horse of Hong Kong, the Phar Lap of Hong Kong, if you like, in Silent Witness. He was the People's Horse over there, and certainly likes his food.
Oh yeah, he's an eating machine. He loves his tucker, and I think good horses they eat hard and they work hard, but very, very strong personality. He's mentally tough, the horse. I flew with him from Hong Kong. Really, nothing phases him. He just takes everything in his stride. So terrific horse, and the people from Hong Kong just love him. They can't believe that they can get over and get up so close to him, pat him. He was their hero. He won 17 on end. They'd put $10 on, they knew they were going to get 11 or 12 back, and he was just a superhero through very tough economic times in Hong Kong.
It must be quite surreal for a real racing enthusiast to be able to come here like that and be photographed with their champions and their favourites and with these trophies. I mean, just money can't buy experience.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the special thing. You can line the Melbourne Cups up and the Cox Plates, but when you can put the horses there with them, because they're the ones that really have done the work. And the neat thing as well is to see their different personalities. At the races, the horses are all a little bit hot and ready, but when you come out here, you'll see them more relaxed. You'll see the good boy side, you'll see the bad boy side of the horses. So they've all got their different personalities, which also come through.
As you say, they've all got their personalities, and Silent Witness, it must have been a great change for him to come from that environment in Hong Kong to the paddocks here in Australia.
Oh, absolutely, and that was one of the things that really, I think, showed his mental toughness. He hadn't been in a paddock for quite a few years, and we brought him out of quarantine, took him down to the paddock, let him loose, and he gave couple of little bucks. I look to the left and look to the right, and yeah, I'm fine. He was happy. Now, if he'd have run off and ran into a fence, you wouldn't have been surprised. But no, mentally tough horse, and that's really the secret to some of them as well. You see that different part of their ability to cope with different environments and different experiences.
Looking at him today, he's still got that steely glint in his eye, like he could still be a racehorse.
Oh yeah, he's got that attitude. I'm strong, I'm good. It's a bit like his owner Archie. They've got very, very strong personalities, and they've got almost that inner self-belief that he's good and he can do the job.
And I guess Silent Witness in particular, but they've all still got this physique, like they're real athletes still.
Yeah, and that's important. There's a lot of work into the feeding and to looking after them. Shari looks after the feeding, and you've got to, we weigh them on a monthly basis, make sure they're not getting too heavy, and also make sure they're not getting too light. You've got to have their feet done, their teeth done, look for little things, anything, it's still, you've got to put that extra effort into care, especially as they get a little bit older.
And they are very well looked after here, as you're saying. It's not like a place where they sort of come to see their days out. This is a place that we can come and showcase these great living legends of the equine world and the thoroughbred world.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's important to us. We want to give them the best care, and you want to show them in the best light. And they're proud horses too, and that's what we're determined to do, is to keep them in the best condition we can, and to showcase. While they are in their retirement, but to have them in the best condition possible.
Do you think they know how good they are, these horses?
Oh, definitely. I think that's you'll see it out there in the thing. They've got that little bit of attitude. They've got the look in the eye. So you'll see it. You just have to come and visit the horses.
Who's the king?
Oh, who's the king? Got to be careful about having favourites, but I think Might and Power's got that little bit of extra presence that I think he thinks he is anyway.
Apart from all the resident champions, we have a good rotation of other real greats coming and going here all the time. Yeah,
and that's Northerly would be one of the examples there. I think the Duncans love to have him at home in Western Australia, but they also appreciate to give him the chance to come here and for the fans to see him. So we had him here for about 3 months last year, and we look forward to having more visits from horses like Northerly, like Takeover Target, and perhaps some new legends into the future as well.
The history here amongst all these horses, apart from the great competition, it runs very deep.
Oh, absolutely. And if you've just got examples, Better Loosen Up, our oldest horse, he used to race against Horlicks. And who have we got here? Brew, one of Horlicks's kids, if you like. So there's those sort of links. You've got the heavyweight duels. You had Might and Power with Doremus fighting out the Melbourne Cup. You've got Silent Witness with Bullish Luck. Bullish Luck beat Silent Witness in race 18, so ended the great winning run of the champion. So there's all these links and paths across the industry and with our horses.
I think it's critical that we keep this sort of thing going, and to do that, everyone's going to have to play a part.
Yep, we'll continue to provide great value for money, but I think the important thing is it's a great promotion for people not in the industry to see the industry. It's a great way to keep the champions in the public profile so that people can come back and see the horse that they backed in the Melbourne Cup and link with them. And for school kids especially, they can come out and pat a horse and see a horse up close. We get large numbers of school kids, they've never patted a horse in their life, and I think that's a critical factor.
As we saw today, you're never really going to get an opportunity to get this up close and personal with such a great star of the turf.
No, absolutely, and that's our unique thing. We want to give people the opportunity to get up close and pat a legend of the turf, and really that's what we're about in a very traditional Australian setting.